Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Our channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. Y'all, the Felons and I are here and we are so excited because we are gonna do one of our very favorite things. We are gonna sit on the couch and snuggle and talk about books. Well, the Felons are gonna sleep. They're not snoring quite yet, but they're pretty close. Here's Felon Bo and here's Felon Daisy, and they are about sound asleep already. So I'm gonna let them sleep. Hang on. I don't know why I try to move things while I'm talking, but I'm gonna let them sleep and I'm gonna talk to y'all about books because, y'all, in my last video, the reading fun books together video, I kept trying to figure out if I was reading the right books, like if they were books that were on my TBR. And I was like, oh my Lord, like I know I'm old, but am I that old that I can't remember what books I put on my own TBR? I'm every bit that old because y'all, I never did a TBR. Let me tell you what happened. So I was getting a TBR like all sorted out in my head, and then I found that last book tag that we did, and I was like, oh, I would always rather do a book tag than do a TBR every single day of the week. So whatever that last, I think it was a beginning of the year book tag that I did, so I did that instead of a TBR. So I did not have a to be read books list. So I just started willy-nilly reading books with no actual goals. So now we're gonna do a TBR. And I have actually come up with my dirty dozen. I wrote it down. Ooh, hang on, things are happening. I wrote it down. I have a dirty dozen list of books that I don't think I could have cheated and put the books that we just read, started giving myself a little jump start on my TBR and put some of those books on here, but I didn't. What I did do, however, was y'all are gonna know, well, this first book is not gonna be a surprise to y'all because remember I read, I almost said that Devney Perry book, it was not, that Rachel Hawkins book when I couldn't think of Rachel Hawkins' name because I was driving down the road trying to think of something in the middle of something else, which is never a good idea. So the first book on my TBR, so I was gonna, Lord have mercy, slow down. My original thought was that I was going to do an anticipated releases list. And then I was like, well, I need to look at my TBR and make sure they don't clash. Well, there was no TBR. So then I was like, oh, I can just do a TBR and include some anticipated releases on it. So number one, first and foremost, on my TBR is The Storm by Rachel Hawkins, which would have been an anticipated release, but it's out already. So I am stoked. Even though I think I love Rachel Hawkins more than most other people do, because she gets good ratings on Goodreads, but not as good a ratings as I would give her, I don't think. But The Storm is, I believe it's about a small, it takes place in a small town in Alabama, and something about, aren't hers always unsolved murders, some kind of, we do flashbacks and flash forwards and flash sideways about some kind of murder or something? I believe that's exactly what this is our main character goes back to this small town, and maybe, I'm getting my books mixed up already. It's not a good sign because I'm on book number one. Maybe I can't remember why she goes back, but she goes back, maybe, wait, hang on. I think, okay, I don't know if she goes back to the small town or if she goes to the small town. I don't know if she's from there or if she just goes there, but she ends up, how loud? Hang on. Oh yeah. I was looking at my volume monitor thing. You can definitely hear Felon Bo snoring. Sorry about that. Anyway, she goes to this small town in Alabama and she's investigating this unsolved murder. And there's a hurricane. That's the storm. She gets wrapped up in this hurricane. So there's going to be probably forced proximity. She's going to get stuck there. Because I don't know if you've ever been in a hurricane, but they become very, very isolating because it's very easy to get, especially in a small town, it's very easy to get cut off from the outside world. Communications go down, a tree falls across the road and you can't get out, you can't go nowhere. So this could be very good. It could get very, very dicey very quickly. So The Storm is most def on our TBR list. Oh, so this is why I was thinking Devney Perry, because Devney Perry always has a new book out. And I don't know if this is new or not, but it's new to me. It's Bluebird Gold. And y'all know my inexplicable obsession with Devney Perry. So this one, I believe, are all her books in Montana? I think this one's in Montana. If not all of her books are in Montana, this one's in Montana, like regardless of how many of her books are in Montana. What the heck? This one is in Montana. And it's, did we read a book by her where our main character is like works at like a ranch, and the family was it one of our Christmas books? Anyway, so this one, I lost my whole train of thought. Her dad dies and she has to go and like clean out his cabin or something in Montana. And she knows she's going to be there for a little minute. So she takes a temporary teaching job in this like, well, I'm going to call it a mountain town in Montana, even though I don't know that, but that's fun to say. Like it's fun to think it's a mountain town. And so she's there like cleaning out dad's cabin. And of course, like when you go through somebody's stuff after they die, no matter how well you knew them, you're going to find some stuff. So she's finding like dad's stuff. And in my mind, he has this like secret double life. I don't know if he does or not. We're going to have to read the book and find out. But of course, and I don't know this, but of course she does. Like she ends up falling in love with one of the locals there. And let me tell you what, as a former public school teacher, being a teacher, you like hear all of the school and like people in the school are the center of lots of social like swirlings about in the town, and especially in a small town. Like even if you don't want to be, you find out all kinds of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how her being a teacher in this, like being, I guess she goes back to the town. Maybe that's the going back to the town that I was thinking of. I don't know if she grew up there. Typically in these books, it's like you have to go back to the town you grew up in to do something, and like you have to deal with all of your like past whatevers. So maybe that's what she has to do. But anyway, she's a teacher, like a temporary teacher. And which I don't even know how that, I guess I really do know how that works. I was going to play dumb. I know exactly how that works. Don't get me started on the public school system. So, yeah, she's a teacher and drama ensues. This one, oh my goodness. Okay. You will be seeing these, of course, but oh my gosh, this, and I'm like pretending, actually I think it will be on this side because there's probably way more room over here because my blocking is so not good right now. But this book, Kiss the Sky, yes, please, let me tell y'all what. So it's set in 1969, and it is a young girl in the South, like a young adult girl, not like a little kid, but comes home from college, and her daddy is, I don't know if it's like strict or overbearing or what it is, but he is not a fan of the way that things are changing and rock and roll music and folks being all fast and loose and stuff. So I think he runs off. So the daughter comes home from college. Dad does not like her friends, runs off her like best girlfriend. Well, the best girlfriend comes back, and our female main character, whose name I don't even know, I got it as I think it's a Amazon Prime first reads, like where you get the books early. It drops on March 1st for reals. But, so first read by I got it early by like 2 weeks. I'm so cool. Anyway. So the friend comes and says, hey, there's this multi-day music concert in upstate New York. You want to go? Y'all, we are going to Woodstock. I cannot even with myself. I am so excited to read this book. Excuse me, you while I kiss the sky. I know, right? Right. So that's Lisa Patton. I know nothing about Lisa Patton other than excuse me while I kiss the sky. It's called Kiss the Sky, not excuse me while I kiss the sky. Anyway. Give me a second. Mistakes were made. Y'all remember we read, oh my God, mistakes were made already. I can't remember the name of it. Lucy's Score book, where the author from New York gets dumped, has to get Story Lake, has to That's how it works when you're old. So she is an author. She gets divorced, loses the apartment in the divorce or something, has to get out of her I'm so excited, y'all. I can't literally have lost my ability to speak English. Has to get out of her apartment by tomorrow, ends up drunk bidding on this house in Story Lake, this teeny tiny town of Story Lake, Pennsylvania, in the middle of the night, buys this house. And so we go to Story Lake, and it's this just tiny, like little bitty town drama. So good. Loved it. Love Lucy Score. Love Story Lake. Love Hazel, the main character. And of course, she has a sidekick who is her editor. It's not Pearl. What is her editor's name? Her editor, whose name I can't remember. But anyway, so this is book 2. Mistakes were made. And it's got to follow, because Hazel, like, we buttoned her up at the end of Story Lake, so it's got to be, I assume, although there were a bunch of peripheral characters that we could follow in this, but y'all, we are going directly back to Story Lake, and I am so excited. So this is, well, I don't know why I'm hashtagging. It's book number 2. Seriously. But yeah, it's Lucy Score's Mistakes Were Made. It's book number 2 in the Story Lake series, and I'm stoked for it. And I think it's already out. I've mixed them all up, so I don't know which ones are, I hope that the coming soons I have dated, like I've marked with the dates of when they're coming, so I can let you know. Can y'all see Felon Beau's foot? He is steady kicking me. My husband's wife is Alice Feeney. Did Alice Feeney write that, is it Rock, Paper, Scissors, that it seems like folks either love it or there is a leaf blowing around outside the window, and I keep catching it out of the corner of my eye, and it looks like a butterfly. Y'all, it is like 20 degrees outside. We just got 3 inches of snow. Ain't no butterflies around here right now, so I keep going, what? Like, anyway, sorry. That's why I keep like jerking. Anyway. Alice Feeney. I believe she is the author of the book Rock, Paper, Scissors that folks either love or hate. And I have it upstairs. It's been on TBR after TBR, or at least like books that I've thought about reading. I don't know that we've ever even actually talked about it, but this one is called My Husband's Wife. And it's about our FMC, like goes for a walk or a run or something. And I'm not sure if I think maybe it's an important day, like something, they're going to an event or something, goes for a run, comes back, and like everything's wrong. Like she goes to open the door and her key doesn't work. And like the description of the book gives me that sense of like, and I haven't had this dream in a long time, so y'all settle down, but you know that dream where like, the classic rendition of this dream is like you show up to school and like you pull up in front of the school and you go to get out of the car and you realize you're naked. Well, it's, whatever it is that like mine used to be, I would stand up in front of when I was teaching, I would stand up in front of a class to teach and realize I had no lesson plans. So it's whatever like your big anxiety is at that time in your life, like you would dream that thing is happening. The description I read of this book gives me that sense of like our FMC goes to the house and like the key doesn't work, and you're like, oh no, this is not going to go well. And then like I think she looks in the window and like things aren't in the right places. And then she meets, and I don't know how, I haven't read the book yet, but according to the previews, they're not previews in a book, whatever, the descriptions that I have read, like she's introduced to her husband's wife, like this woman as though he is the wife of her husband. So that's why it's called My Husband's Wife. But so she has to like figure out what's going on. And people who like Alice Feeney love this book. So I'm kind of stoked to read it. Sorry, we had, like I said, did I tell y'all we got like 3 or 4 inches of snow, and now it's like a clear blue sky and the sun is blazing. So I think I'm probably getting way overexposed right now, but much like the other day, I'm so excited the sun is out, I'm going to sit here and just be overexposed. All right, so that's My Husband's Wife. Okay. I don't know anything about, I don't know nothing about this book. Ross Montgomery is the author, and the book is The Murder at World's End. And it's set in some I think it's set at the turn in the early 1900s in an old mansion. I think it's old, like it would be old now, but I think it was old at the time. And it's an old man who believes that, Halley's Comet. So it's 1910 because Halley's Comet. He believes that Halley's Comet, y'all know how every time, remember Hale-Bopp, every time a comet, we have a big event like that, there are folks who think it's the end of the world. Well, homie thinks it's the end of the world. So he is having, I don't know if he's having an end of the world party or what's going on. If he's probably he's hunkering down for the world to end. And there's a murder. So there's a murder at the end of the world. And I think we have to solve it. So we have this old man, we have a comet and a butler in an old mansion on this island. Did I say it's on an island? It's on some coastal island in I don't know, Scotland or somewhere. Stoked, so stoked. I told you I didn't know nothing about it. Y'all stop it. Do not act surprised when I show up with a list of books that I know nothing about. All right, I have some books that I actually have. What? I know. Y'all want to pretend like that didn't make any sense? It did make sense. You know it did. First of all, I'm going to try to do this without waking up these dogs. How many times is this going to be on our list? I need a second. Everybody knows what this is, right? This is the third book in the Fourth Wing series, the Epierian series, is that right? Here's the deal. I'm already having issues with this book, of which I have read not a single word. And here's why. I'm going to set it down because I'm going to keep tapping on it. And y'all are going to be like, stop banging on that book. Like when you listen to somebody speaking and they're standing at a podium and they're banging on the podium. And if the mic is on the podium, it's bang, 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 same thing. Drives me crazy. Book 2, Iron Flame. So in book 1, okay, let me make a whole thought. Fourth Wing is about a war that's fought on dragons. And we get to know the riders and the dragons. And the dragons have personalities. And I'm going to cry. When you read a book where your friends go to war, bad things happen. Just hard stop. So bad things happen in book 1. We lose friends. In book 2, it's going to be a very awkward jump cut because I had to think really hard about how I was going to talk about this without giving spoilers for book 1 or book 2. Writers, so this isn't magical realism, it's fantasy. I was going to say writers of magical realism have tools at their disposal that writers of non-magical books don't have. This isn't magical realism, it's fantasy. So fantasy writers definitely have those tools that can cause you to experience characters that died in ways that are painful, is all I'm going to say about that. That happens in book 2. Book 2, Iron Flame, gutted me. So I'm afraid I'm weak and I'm broken and I'm afraid to read book 3 because I don't trust Rebecca Yarros not to reduce me as a human. That's all I'm going to say about that. And Gigi, my friend, has scarred me because now I'm just straight up blaming Gigi. So over on my Patreon, we read books together. We have book club. We read books together. And my beasts, I said it was my beast. It wasn't my beast. It was Gigi, who was one of the beasts, said, hey, we should read Hamnet for book club. So we did. And I just said it was the beast because if we didn't like it, I didn't want to be like, well, that person picked this book Because like I will take the blame for picking a bad book, but I'm not going to blame somebody else. Well, it's a fantastic book and we all loved it. So now I can give Gigi credit because now it's credit, not blame. Even though Gigi would 100% take the blame because she's awesome like that, but it's not blame, it's credit. It was a great book. And we had our live stream the other day and we talked about this, and there's a scene in, well, there's sort of a series of events in Hamnet that reminded me of that in Iron Flame, where saying goodbye to a character, like saying goodbye to somebody that you've already said goodbye to, it's like gashing open a scar. Like you're gashing open like already scarred tissue, and it's even worse trying to heal it a second time. That right there, that's what happened in Hamnet. That's what happened in Iron Flame, and that's what I'm afraid of in this freaking dragon-laden tome. So that would have been really cool if I'd whipped it around and it had been turned the right way. Anyway, so there's that. So with all of that being said, the intern, when I'm reading and I'm like snot bubble crying, he'll be like, you make reading look like so much fun. I don't know why it doesn't make me want to read more. Same, I make this book sound like so much fun. I know you all want to go out and start reading it right now. Stop it. This. Bren Weaver is the author of definitely my very favorite serial killer romance. It's probably not my favorite romance. It's one of my favorite books, Butcher and Blackbird. Y'all know how much I love Butcher and Blackbird. So that series is done, or at least that series is done. This is the first book of the next series, Taurus Season. And did I already tell y'all that I'd read this? I've read it. Daisy just hit my camera. Y'all might be about to go flying over. We'll see how we do. So I've read this, and the next book is coming out in June. This is Taurus Season, Harvest Season is coming out in June. So I'm going to reread this before I read that, because that's just how we do with Bren Weaver books, because they're so good. You want to with Butcher and Blackbird, I read Butcher and Blackbird, and then I always get these in the wrong order. It's Butcher and Blackbird, Leather and Lark, and Butcher and Blackbird, Leather and Lark, Scythe and Sparrow, yeah. So, but I can't remember if it's Leather and Lark and Scythe and Sparrow, or Scythe and Sparrow and Leather and Lark, but I read Butcher and Blackbird. So I read book 1, and then book 1 and book 2, and then book 1, 2, and 3. So I reread all of the books just to make it last longer because they're so good. Bo's finally done with me. Bless his heart, I'm surprised he made it this long. So I'm going to go ahead and reread Taurus Season again, just to enjoy it again before I read, before Harvest Season comes out. And I think maybe we'll read this together. So I have to think about what I'm going to tell you about it. But it's about our FMC is hiding in this tourist town, and this dude comes to find her. Yeah, that's all I'm going to tell you for now, because I have to think about what I'm going to tell you about it. So we will read this together. I just made that executive. I said maybe we're gonna. Oh yeah. Look, I think this is the collector's one. It might not be. This might just be the regular one, but y'all have seen this multiple times because my friend Bren signed it for me with sparkly. Can y'all see that? I'm sorry, I'm looking at my little viewfinder thing so I can see what you're seeing. I don't know if you can see that it's sparkly blue ink. She signed it in sparkly blue ink. She wet signed it. She didn't do like a book plate and stick the book plate on it. No, she signed it. She touched this book. I know. I mean, I bought it signed. It's not like I walked up to her and was like, hey friend, can you sign this for me? But anyway, so we'll read that. Oh, and then this one. We're going to read that so that we can read the one that comes out. And the last thing he told me, this has been out for a long time. When did this come out even? 5 years. This has been out for 5 years. The last thing he told me, female main characters, husband, I'm getting my books mixed up. Had they only been married a year? Anyway, her husband dies. And the last thing he told her, he slipped her a note that said, protect her. And the her is his daughter. So FMC's stepdaughter who hates the FMC. But the FMC has to protect her anyway because of course she would, but because he said protect her. But then there is a new book that's coming out that's the first time I saw him. I think it's either coming out or it's out. And I want that one. But y'all know if I buy that, it's just going to sit on the shelf with this one and not get read. So I'm going to read this and then get that. Okay. Now, so stoked. Check this out. The Bookshop of 99 Doors comes out in like April. This old house. And I think this is a dual timeline, which I know y'all are like, you get confused in dual timelines. What are you doing? I know I do. Anyway, we're going there anyway. So I think, okay, hang on. Our one timeline I think is early 1900s and the other one is like now-ish. And now I'm wondering if I got confused and no, that's right. The Haley's Comet one is right. Okay, so anyway, our 1900s, early 1900s timeline, our female main character, Minnie, her dad bought like an old mansion in Pennsylvania maybe, and it might be haunted. And dad is sick and he's getting sicker and sicker, which totally gives me like Fall of the House of Usher vibes. I know. What? I know. Anyway, so we have Minnie and the sick dad in the early 1900s. And then we have, I think it's like Triss or something in the Now Times. And y'all, she is the bookkeeper, like the bookshop keeper, whatever, in a museum bookshop in the house, in that like mansion. And there's like 99 doors and maybe there's like a secret 100th door or something. I don't know. We have to read it and find out. But so she runs like the bookshop gift shop in this. Did I say it's a museum? It's been made into a museum because it's haunted. It's like rumored to be haunted. So it's this old like mansion museum. She runs the bookshop. And then these maybe phenomenologists, like ghost hunters, like YouTube ghost hunter guys show up and want to like investigate or something. What? I know, y'all, it's this, I know. This, I'm going to end up getting grounded and not get to read this at night. This is going to scare me so bad. I know. It's going to be so good. So that one comes out in April. All right, I have two more. Y'all, these are authors we love. One is Catherine Walsh. Y'all remember Snowed In, loved, and oh snap, what was the other one? The holiday romance? Like the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles one where the two friends were trying to get to Ireland for their annual trip and nothing was working out. So they had to like drive a car, take a train, get a bus, get a boat, all the things. She has a new book and it is How to Write a Love Story. Comes out March 10th. And the female main character is a book editor and she has to fly to Ireland, go figure, to help. I think it's the daughter of her author. So she represents this author who's dead. And so she has to fly, I think. So she has to fly to Ireland to help the author's daughter finish his last book. So I think she works with the dead author, I think. But love her book so much. And shenanigans, hijinks, and romance will ensue, 100% guaranteed. My last book, y'all remember over on my Patreon, we read One Golden Summer a few months ago, probably during the summer. Well, Carly Fortune has a new book, and I don't know if it's out yet or when it's coming out. I thought I had written all these things down. I did not, but let me tell you what it's about. It's called One Perfect Storm. Did I say that already? One Perfect Storm, and it is a male and female best friend George and Frankie. And Frankie's the girl. She's getting married. George is her best man, which I think I don't know. I think he's like, instead of a maid or matron of honor, she has him. And she's not even sure if he's going to like show up. And then he shows up and I think she gets dumped at the altar. What? So then I'm guessing what happens is we spend the book with George putting her back, like helping her put her life back together after all that, or figure out why she got dumped or something. I'm not really sure. But okay, you know what? I said I love Carly Fortune. I've only read one of her books, but somebody over on my Patreon, I can't remember who it was. Joanne, maybe it was Joanne, was it you that read a handful of her books and really liked them? So they weren't as great as One Golden Summer, like that was the best one, but did enjoy her other books. And one of the other books was like a prequel, like not a prequel, but like One Golden Summer was book 2 and the other one was like book 1. It wasn't like it was written as a prequel after, but like it actually literally came before it. So I think that might make it a little, at least I have a hard time going back and reading a book that came before a book that I've read, because you already know a bunch of the things that are going to happen. Anyway, I hope we like Carly Fortune. It's not just that I like that one book, because I'm stoked to read this one and watch the things fall apart and then try to put them back together. And y'all, that's it. That's my dirty dozen. And that's actually 12 books if you go back and count. I mean, other than like the ancillary books that I talked about, but those don't count because I made a list of 12 actual books, and I stuck to my list. So that is it. Those are my 12 books on my TBR, and I'm going to start reading one of them right now because about an hour and a half ago, I finished reading The 7-Year Slip for my Patreon, which we are going to, our live stream will be actually the day after this video comes out. And I'm very excited because The 7-Year Slip was so good. And I cried, go figure. So that is it. That is my list of the books that I'm going to be reading. So let us know in the comments, what books are you reading now and what books are you looking forward to reading? Let us know. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, we are most definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos over on Fit Danielle Eats at the beginning of every week, with some book videos over here sprinkled in between. And I do a daily devotional over on Fit Danielle Prays. So if I don't see you on one of those, I'll catch you on the next one.